Welcome back to our channel, guys. If you're new here, we're Andre and Lisa. Usually we travel by motorhome, but right now thought we would put something special together for a country that was really special for us. In fact, we will be going back to this country. Welcome to our channel. We're Andre and Lisa. Over the last 20 years, we have traveled together to more than 40 countries. 5 years ago, we embarked on a long-term sabbatical and have been nomadic ever since. For most of the past 2 years, we have been exploring Western Europe with our motorhome. This year, we plan to make our way through Eastern Europe towards Denmark for summer. We'll be heading south for winter and just maybe make it to Morocco. So hit that subscribe button and join our adventure.
Today, we're going to be talking all about Denmark. So we're going to be telling you all the good, all the bad, and at the end, we'll give you a few tips for visiting Denmark.
Most people visiting Denmark are rather surprised to see that the country doesn't just consist of traffic jams and stressed people. Our second day in Denmark, a local surprised me with a term I wasn't familiar with at the time, and that was hygge, and I didn't know what he meant. I actually had to go look it up. It's a unique term expressing a feeling of well-being and warm atmosphere. It's cozy social gatherings, intimate get-togethers between family and friends. Probably more than that. And it goes far in illuminating the Danish soul. But you'll have to go to Denmark and find it yourself. Put Denmark on your bucket list. It really deserves to be a destination that gets a lot more attention, specifically for van life.
We first visited Denmark from Germany on our way to Sweden. We spent 2 weeks there during June of 2021, visiting the islands of Mon and Zealand. After visiting Sweden and Norway, we then decided to return to Denmark because we enjoyed it so much and spent another 2 weeks on the mainland of Jutland during August of 2021.
And we discovered that this could just be the perfect place to spend August in Europe. In this video, we will be sharing with you why we think Denmark is such a great place to take your motorhome or your van, and we're sharing with you our good and maybe a few bads, because it can't all be good.
So when is a good time to go to Denmark? In our opinion, if you want moderate to warm weather, you really need to be there anywhere from the months of May through to the end of August. Any other months outside of that are really particularly cold in our opinion. Of course, if you're looking for snow and that sort of experience, that's fine, but we prefer more moderate weather.
Okay, let's kick off with the good.
We found Denmark to be extremely van life friendly.
For some reason, Denmark gets overlooked and most people just either rush through it on their way to Sweden or Norway, or don't even bother and take the ferry straight to Norway.
Our first aspect that we're going to be discussing is camping in Denmark. When it comes to camping, Danish campsites are generally grouped into 2 different types, those affiliated with the Danish Camping Board and the independent sites. The Danish Camping Board rates its campsites depending on the facilities that are available, so this makes it very easy to know what to expect from a campsite. However, in order to use these campsites, you do need to have the Danish camping card, which is called the Camping Key Europe card, and this costs 110 DKK. It is easy enough to obtain. However, if you don't want to obtain this camping card, you can also visit the independent sites, as they are also generally of very high standards. Of course, if you're camping in Europe, you may know of the AXI camping card, which gives you discounted camping rates in off-season throughout Europe. This can be as little as 13 euro per night, and there are almost 100 sites in Denmark. One little tip, if you are visiting campsites in Denmark, is that many campsites offer discounted rates if you arrive late after 8 p.m. and leave before 10 a.m. So if you're covering some distance and you're on the road most of the days and just looking for a place to sleep, give that a try. When it comes to overnighting, we found the marinas in Denmark to be a great place to stop. They're almost guaranteed to have good service facilities for motorhomes. They're relatively affordable and they're usually very picturesque too. We stayed at the Kastrup Marina in Copenhagen for just 21,50 euro per night, including all services, and this was a great way to visit Copenhagen. Motorhomes can also stay at local farms, where farmers have made land available. This is a lovely, more rural experience to have in Denmark, and there's even a website that lists all of these available facilities. Link in the description below.
Camping's not your thing. There's a few other options. If you're in a motorhome, you are limited to where you can go and where you can stop.
If you're just looking for a rastaplatz or a place to pull over next to the side of the road and overnight, not camp, then you can always use the Park for Night app, which has loads of spots throughout the whole of Denmark.
Although you still can't roam into the nature with your vehicle, it doesn't mean you cannot legally overnight in your vehicle.
That brings us to wild camping. Although I know Andre doesn't like to use the word wild camping. Many people are put off by the fact that Denmark does not have the same right to roam laws as Sweden and neighboring Norway. However, in our opinion, with a motorhome, this really makes no difference, as the rules and regulations for overnighting in a motorhome are similar in these countries. There's a difference between overnighting, taking a rest in your vehicle next to the side of the road or in a designated parking spot, and camping, spending extended periods of time taking out your awnings, chairs, tables, etc.
It is defined as resting, and you're allowed to rest without exhibiting camping-like behavior until you're ready or fit to proceed with your journey. You will even find dedicated motorhome parkings where you can do just that, or you can effectively park anywhere as long as your vehicle fit inside the designated bay.
And in Denmark, there are so many places and facilities where you can take rest and spend the night legally in your motorhome. Of the 31 nights that we spent in Denmark, we only paid for a total of 4 nights at marina parkings, and the rest of our stays were for free and completely legal. When it comes to servicing your motorhome, this is relatively easy in Denmark, as most of the marinas, which are scattered throughout the country, have great service facilities for motorhomes. There's also free, clean, fresh water available throughout the country.
Denmark has some of the world's cleanest tap water, and you can find it everywhere.
We never struggled to get clean water or to service our van in the month that we spent in Denmark. If you are traveling in a smaller van or don't have toilet facilities, the other nice thing about Denmark is that they have great public toilet facilities throughout the country, which are both clean and free. To give you some examples of what we paid for accommodation overnighting in Denmark, we stayed at the Kastrup Marina outside of Copenhagen, which cost 160 DKK, which is €21.50 per night, including all services. We also stayed at the Albeik Marina in the mainland Jutland for just over €20 per night. For the total of 31 nights that we spent in Denmark, we only paid for 4 nights accommodation at those 2 marinas, and we never had to pay additionally for servicing the motorhome.
Why do we like Denmark? It's relatively flat, the roads are great, there's not a lot of traffic.
What I really enjoyed about Denmark was the ease of travel. The land is generally relatively flat, the roads are open and wide, it's easy driving, the drivers are relaxed and friendly, and I just never felt stressed out driving in Denmark. It felt open and spacious. Another good thing is that there aren't many toll roads in Denmark. The only 2 tolls are the 2 bridges, which are the Øresund Bridge between Denmark and Sweden, and also the Storebælt Bridge between the east and west. Perhaps another reason I was so fond of Denmark is that no matter where you are, whether you're on one of the islands or on the mainland, you're never more than 50 kilometers from a coast, which means that if the weather's good, you can get to a beach nice and easily, and if there's wind blowing, you can either go towards the wind for windsurfing and kitesurfing, or you can escape the wind and go to the other side of the coast where there's less wind.
Fantastic beaches, good for kitesurfing, good for swimming.
The beaches are long, they feel spacious. You can go to popular beaches and see people and feel the buzz of Denmark in the summer, or you can escape the crowds and find long, expansive, almost deserted beaches. Denmark has a great variety, from bustling cities like Copenhagen to deserted landscapes where you can walk amongst the forest or even the sand dunes. There's something for everybody there. You can even go troll hunting on the big island of Zealand, which is a great thing to do. There are these giant wooden trolls scattered across the country, which are a great idea to set a destination, to go look for these and just take you to places you wouldn't otherwise visit. And we found that walking around the outside of most open-air historical sites is generally free, while most other tourist and sightseeing attractions' entrance fees are on par with the rest of Western Europe. Denmark is a safe and friendly country. It's easy to travel, And after being in Germany, we were very happy to see that it was another one of the countries where credit cards are widely acceptable, and we found no need to draw any cash. Spoiler alert is that we're going to be returning to Denmark again this year for the summer. And that is because we find that Denmark is just the absolute ideal place to escape the hot and busy European summers. The weather is still moderate and pleasant enough. It's warm enough to be able to spend your days on the beach and even take a swim. But it's cool enough not to be bustling with people and also not to be too hot and sweaty. Of course, there's plenty of opportunity for kite surfing in the correct season. In addition to the comfortable weather over summer, there's just long days with sunlight hours that seem to go on forever.
Let's talk about the bad.
This is probably one that you can all expect. Denmark is expensive. So when it comes to groceries, we found Denmark to be roughly 20% more expensive than neighboring country Germany, but it's not quite as expensive as Sweden and Norway. The good thing is that there are good budget supermarkets available in Denmark, and we were able to keep our food costs low, having stocked up before entering from Germany. And we only spent €23 per day for food for the two of us. That being said, we didn't drink much alcohol, only a couple of beers to join in with the locals along the beach. While fuel prices are relatively high in Denmark, the good thing is that the price is regulated throughout the country, so at least you don't have to go in search of a cheaper fuel station. You can fill up when it's convenient.
If you plan to stay in Denmark for an extended period of time and you require LPG refills, take note that there's very few refill stations.
Now this one is particularly relevant for anybody traveling by motorhome. There are only about 5 stations throughout the entire country, which means that this might limit your stay, or of course you could end up buying a local gas bottle and dispose of that again before you leave. And the third bad thing about Denmark, and this is possibly the saddest one, the good weather season to visit Denmark by motorhome is such a short season. In our opinion, the best months are really June, July and August, and we would happily spend 3 months there every year. Now on to the tips for making the best of your visit to Denmark. Tip number 1 is do not drive off-road into nature areas. This is illegal, and in general, we're all there to enjoy the beauty of nature. So in that regard, be considerate and respect nature. Tip number 2. There are many rastepladser where you're only legally allowed to stay overnight or for 24 hours. Don't overstay your welcome. Denmark is friendly and welcoming to motorhomes, and if you overstay your welcome, eventually this is going to change and it'll be ruined for all of us. And our third tip about Denmark, depending on who you are, you're going to decide whether this is a good thing or a bad thing. Denmark celebrates midsummer in the middle of June. This is when schools and colleges graduate, and it's a great festivity at the start of summer. However, this means that it's very busy and there's lots of lively parties and celebrations going on. We were there to experience this in 2021, and it was truly an incredible experience. However, if you are looking to escape the crowds, then you might want to skip the celebration. I would say you want to experience it at least once.
So apparently what happens is they light this bonfire and then everybody sings this traditional song together. Is this it? What is
The bottom of summer, hot, so warm, so happy. We love our country, but in midsummer most, when every cloud over the field sends blessings, when flowers are most plentiful.
Wow, your Danish is good. They do say if you go to Copenhagen, Magerstrand beach, you can find more tourists there than Copenhageners. You have to go to Tivoli Park for the real deal. So yes, I think places like this, interesting experience. Well, a little bit hard to see, but along the coast you can see all the smokestacks, all the fires being burnt.
This is pretty cool.
Amazing, eh?
Wow.
Almost want to be Danish.
I know. like to know a little bit more about van life in Denmark, a little bit more about the practicalities, see our routes through Denmark, and any further tips, be sure to check out our article on our website.
Guys, we're going to wrap this up. Thank you so much for watching. Hope that we inspired you to visit Denmark and that you will love it as much as we did.
And if you'd like to join us when we return back to Denmark this year, be sure to hit the subscribe button, give us a thumbs up on this video.
And we are going there this summer, so we'll see you then.
Thanks for watching, and we hope that you'll get to visit Denmark too. Ciao!